are very important to me, right? Average person is going to buy between 4 and 7 houses in their lifetime. Okay? Now, how many people do you know that have already purchased at least 4? Anybody in the room already purchased 4? Okay, you have, I have. Joey, how many houses have you had in your lifetime? So 4 to 7 houses, all right? Each satisfied person should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer. And if you just do the math right here on referrals, I like breaking things down. What is a referral? Give me a good definition of a referral.
Someone that gives you the business. Someone that gives you business.
Okay.
Refers your name to another person.
That's right. Now, and I call a referral as you help the person go from A to B in their life. And throughout this experience, they had some type of transformation. So let me tell you the difference here. Most people in real estate think in terms of transaction. This word means to discard. It means I used you and I don't need you anymore. So don't call me, don't engage with me, because your use value is of no utility to me today. Does that make sense? Now, so I don't even like really the word transaction, because you never get referrals when you think like this. Okay? Now, let me give you another stat. 67% of people in real estate use the very first real estate agent that contacts them. They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one, which is why engaging with people consistently is very important, because they use the very first one, okay? Now, so basically when you're looking at this, your referrals come from one word, or really 2 words, transformation and engagement. Okay, the more you engage with people, the more active they think about you, the more they think about you, the more they talk about you, the more they talk about you, the more they refer you. But they will not refer you if you don't do something that's transformational in their life. Everybody see that? Now, one of my favorite verses in the Bible was Jesus and the 12 disciples, and they were going from city to city spreading the gospel. Jesus was kind of a salesperson, right? He was out there going from city to city spreading the message, and then everywhere he went, people kind of came to him, okay? And then they would kind of sign up with him and go with him to the next place. And one of the verses says, as Jesus, and I call it Jesus, 12 disciples, 2 women, and a business manager. And they were walking from city to city spreading the message. And then at the end of that verse it says, and many others who were contributing from their own resources to support Jesus and the disciples. Now, when I read that, I highlighted it. Why would a person use their resources to support you? What are their resources? Time, money, energy. What about this one? Influence, networks, energy. Those are all resources. So why would I use my resources to help you? I want you to think about that. Why would they use their resources to help him? Because some type of transformation took place. So what does transformation really mean? I came to you one way. So think of it like this. I came to you confused. I didn't know what to do. Should I buy a house? Should I not buy a house? Is it the right time to buy it? If I do want to buy it, how do I finance it? What are my financing options? I call it option selling. Is there any creative financing? Is there any owning financing? How can I get a loan? What are the percentage of the loan? Why does it make sense to buy a house today or sell a house today? See, to me, there's a lot of confusion. And confusion is randomness in motion. People don't know what to do. And when they don't know what to do, guess what they do? Nothing. Which is why people just sit. Okay? Well, transformation says, I came to you confused, which means I didn't really know what to do. And you have a unique ability. It's a Dan Sullivan term. And you used your unique ability, and I left you with clarity. There was a woman last night who was looking at investing about $8,000 and coming to 2 of my boot camps. She did 36 transactions last year, single mom. She was a college athlete. She just got a referral commission check of $37,000 on a big deal. And right when she went to pay last night to come to my boot camp, she got scared. So she texted me, scared to death. I've never invested more than $1,000 on my personal development. Can I talk to you for just a minute? And I got on the phone with her at 7 o'clock, and I said, let me explain what the problem is. Let me explain why I'm qualified to solve that problem. Let me explain why you're probably stuck at doing 36 deals because you've never invested more than $1,000 in your personal development. You don't know how to do 50 deals. And if you did, you'd be doing it, right? And I just talked to her. What if we don't make the money back? What if, I got 3 kids. What if I don't make the right? She's scared to death. So what she did is she came to me, and I basically explained the value of why she should do this and how it would actually help her make a lot more, right? And I said, would 2 commission checks pay for this? She said, absolutely. And I said, okay, do you think with me behind you and me supporting you, you'll do more than two more deals over the next year? And she said, absolutely. And I said, okay, there's very little risk in doing this then, right? It's not risky if you're betting on a guy that's been doing something for 30 years. You see what I'm saying? But in her mind, there was a lot of risk. So I talked to her, explained the value. We call that the explanation of value. And then she walked away with clarity. But she still hasn't hit the link to make the payment. Why not? Why not? That's the question.
She don't believe.
That's right. She don't believe in what?
Herself.
Okay? She don't believe in herself. So what could I do? And I said this to her, you're not betting on me, you're betting on you. By the way, you're not investing in me, you're investing in you. But I cannot help you until you commit to something with me. You can watch me on YouTube, you can watch me on Facebook, but it ain't the same as coming and spending 3 days with me. So what I did is I took some of her confusion, then she texted me back, I'm going to bet on myself. Thank you for this message. I feel more confident. See, where referrals come from is if I really help this woman move from where she is in her life, which is confused, but knowing she has more potential, to clarity. Let's say she goes out and does 30 more deals because of this coaching. How do you think she'll feel about me? And guess what? She'll tell other people, yes or no? So let's go back to where referral comes from. Referrals always come from engagement. Okay? And so let me show you the stat that's kind of crazy here. Is that if I ask you, could you get all 4 to 7 homes that I'm going to buy in my lifetime as my real estate agent, you would say, I want to get those. Everybody would say yes, right? If you could get the 5.7 referrals off every satisfied person over the lifetime of the consumer, you'd say you'd want to get those too, yes or no? Okay? The stats tell me that 98% of real estate agents and mortgage originators never call a client back once the transaction's over. Okay? So this morning, I got a phone call from Coach Insell, the head coach at MTSU, because he heard I was going to be coming to the basketball game tomorrow night. And he said, I wanted to personally call you because we want you here. And I want to invite you and your daughter down to the locker room so they could see our pregame talk. And I got 2 seats sitting on the front row for you. And he said, because I want you to see you. He said, more importantly, I want other people to see you here. He took the time to personally call me. He said, this person's going to be calling you. They're going to have your private parking spot. They're going to bring you in the back door. And the whole time you hear whatever you want, he'll take care of it. Now, how do you think I felt about him? Good. Do you think I'm talking about him right now? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. See, he didn't have to do that. It's freaking head coach of a basketball team. But he understands the importance of personally engaging with people. Do you know when he took that job at MTSU, they were averaging 495 attendees per basketball game? That counted the referees and the workers at MTSU. He's now averaging about 4,000 people per game, which puts him in the top 10 of women's basketball teams in the United States. If you can get 4,000 people to watch a women's basketball game, and he's at MTSU. And when I wrote a book with him, everywhere we went, he would talk to people. We go to Demas's, and he'd talk to people. Man, I need you at the game tomorrow night. Can you come? I'm going to get you 2 tickets. I'm going to bring you in, right? And then we'd go somewhere else. He'd do the same thing. Man, I can't do it without you. Can you come and support us? I really want you there. Matter of fact, I want to bring you down to the locker room. He really increased their attendance by 3,500 people per game because he understands how to include people. He understands the concept of inclusion, how he makes people feel. You're important. You're a very important person to us. We want to, so when you think about this, the reason people refer, and referrals when great people tell other great people how you help them move from A to B in their life. I was lost and confused. You had an expert skill. You transformed my thoughts. And then after the transaction was over, what did you do? You continued to follow up with me and engage with me. Now, why do real estate agents not do this? Lazy? See, the thinking is all wrong, right? Transactional is, man, I'm going to get my commission, I'm going to move on to the next one. The truth is, there is a fortune made up right here in follow-up. I mean, how many more deals? Could you pick up 10 or 15 more deals a year if you just did a good job with this? Could this be a high value activity for you? Just engaging with people. Now, here's what real estate agents say to me. I don't know what to say. What should I say if I call them? They're just human beings. They're just people. How's it going? If you're calling me, how's your new kid? Right? How's the book sales going? Is there any way I can support you and help you? What's the coaching program doing? You see what I'm saying? Just talk to me like a person. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a script to call me and say, hey, how's it going? Thank you for being one of our best clients. We appreciate you. How's the new book sale going? Man, I'd like to help you with that. See, to really get a lot of referrals, you really have to get lost in other people's dreams. And it's hard to get referrals when you're real selfish. So you got to take time. So if you had something going on with you today and you had to go to the doctor and you didn't really know what was going on, would that be a big deal to you? Yes or no? You'd be stressed about it. You'd have anxious. The doctor does it all day long, so it's not a big deal to them because they see it over and over and over and over. But what's small to you is always big to them. You with me? Taking a few minutes and having a conversation with the person, walking them through something, really connecting to another person, spending time listening to what their dreams and ambitions are and goals are. So I got a text message from a real estate agent here in Murfreesboro, and I sent it to Tommy one day, who is not my agent. And he said, what are your goals for real estate in 2023? Right? And I just engaged with him, trying to do some things at the lodge. I'm trying to maybe buy another retreat site. I'm trying to do this. Now, was that taking initiative, yes or no? Yes. Got to give a guy credit for taking initiative. Okay? Do you know that I sold a condo in Panama City and a cabin in Sevierville from an agent I never met because they were the only agent in those markets who reached out to me? They took initiative. Right? So when you think about referrals and you just think about this, when you come in during the day when you're looking at the legacy selling system, this is what I call the net promoter. And ultimately, we're trying to take a net promoter. This is a new client. And we're trying to move them to an advocate. Okay? Now, there's 3 types of clients, if you're writing this down. There's what's called a passive. And a passive is a person that does a real estate deal with you, and if I ask them, how did it go? They go, it's average, which is what most people say about the real estate transaction. Would you agree? It says average. There's what's called a detractor, which is a person who did something with you, and they hated it. What do?
Negative referral.
They go tell everybody how bad they hated it. And it does affect you, right? Now, if you have a whole lot of volume, I know you guys watch Cardone. He has as many detractors as he does promoters, but he's got so many people that the detractors, they kind of drown out because there's so many of them. Do you follow what I'm saying? Because I've had people that use their services and said, man, I hated it. I'm coming to you because I hate that. I can't get my people to watch it. Right? They were not passives or promoters. They were actually detractors. Now, here's the funny thing. They still watch him. Right? I mean, I went to an event with him, and he said, how many of you opted out of my emails? Right? And out of a group of 1,000, there were 300 that said, I opted out of your emails. But they were still there at the event, and they paid money to go. Isn't that interesting? So they said, I don't want to get any communication from you, but I'm still going to pay you for something because you're creating enough value for me. So a detractor is a person who a detractor is a person who had an experience with you, and all of us have detractors. Okay, we're all going to deal with some crazy people. Last night I was getting messages from a woman who got something, but she didn't get 2 workbooks, and her husband didn't get a workbook, so we were stealing from them. And, it was just crazy emails I was getting from this woman. I couldn't tell if it was the husband or the wife, and you know what I'm saying? So I just reached out and I said, hey, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. I never argue with people. Hey, man, thank you for the feedback. Let me make sure I have the right program. I get back to people quick, and I deal with it fast. You with me? It's inconvenient. And I knew everybody on my team was at home, so I just reached back out to, hey, this is Coach Burt. Thank you for this feedback. Let me make sure I know what program you are, and I'm sure we can get you taken care of. Does that sound good? See, I don't get adversarial with people, right? Even when they complain, I understand. I'd probably be upset too if I didn't get 2 workbooks and I bought 2 workbooks, right? See, what I try to do is just connect to people all day long. So number 2 is a detractor. Number 3, what's called a promoter. Hence the term net promoter. So Josh, if I did a real estate transaction with you and I said, after the experience, there was a survey, and I said on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied were you with that experience with Josh? And they said, if they said 4 to 6, that'd be passives. If they said 1 to 4, that'd be detractors. If they said 8 to 10, that'd be a promoter. Now, what is the problem with the promoter? Because there is a problem with it.
Is a promoter, would the difference be they've got to be asked to say something?
That's exactly right. See, my problem with the promoter is they don't ever say anything until somebody asks them. It's like, hey, did you have a good experience with Charlie? Yes. Would you use Charlie again? Yes. They're really not out there fighting for you. So to me, there was a book called The Ultimate Question Fred Reichelt wrote, and he put it into these 3 terms. There's 3 types of customers: passives, detractors, promoters. And then there was an article come out in the Harvard Business Review that said he's missing a category. And I said, I agree. What he's missing is what's called an advocate. See? This level. What is an advocate doing?
They're going to go out and say good things without being asked.
They're actually fighting for you right now, and you don't even know it. So in a given day, I may get 5 to 10 of these. It's like, hey, you're working with so-and-so. They said you really helped them. I want to put you on the phone with them in a 3-way text. They're actually out there prospecting for me. Now, why would they prospect for me again? That's right. Why were they an advocate?
It's a great experience.
They came to me confused, and they left me with clarity, and I moved them from, so think of a real estate transaction as you're moving a person from A to B. How you move them from A to B, how you communicate with them, how you deal with them, how excited they are, how you communicate with them. Really, that's how they're summing it up, right? And they don't say it like this, but they're either going to go, don't matter, I hated it. They're going to say, I would use them again. Or they're going to go out there and tell other people, you shouldn't use anybody else but this person. Like, this is crazy. Okay, now, so why don't people have proactive engagement? So yesterday I was looking for some insurance information for my accountant end of the year, and I reached out to my insurance agency, and they said, oh yeah, well that person quit 3 months ago. They haven't assigned anybody else to me. They haven't even called me. They hadn't engaged with me. There's a person, Tommy would know who they are, that up here in Murfreesboro. And I said, well, although I like the dude, he was a terrible insurance salesman. Okay, terrible. And then they took the opportunity to say, man, Coach Burt, we love having you as a client. But we're so sorry you had that experience. You love me so much that it took me complaining about something before you ever called me. Right? So what should they have been doing? Should they have had proactive engagement?
Yeah.
See, he should have been telling me that before I decided to leave. See, I already made up my mind I was going to leave and go to another, right? And I have my own insurance agency now, so why not just do it with my company versus theirs? My point is, they didn't think to call and say, we love you as a client, your person left, but we want to take care of you. Because to your point, they get lazy. Yep.
So I want you to talk about, like, doing a good job for somebody does not produce an advocate.
Yeah.
Because people expect a good job.
That's right.
What are some of the intangibles that turn people into advocates?
How you fight for them. The way you build advocates, the way you get people to fight for you is you fight for them.
So how did you give that? Give us an example in a
All right.
real estate deal of how, because just
Yeah.
doing a good job,
Yeah.
they expect that. You don't get rewarded. You don't get bonus points for doing a good job. There's something else that comes along with this to turn them into an
All right, so let's say I'm going through a real estate transaction right now, and there's all kinds of confusion. Market, rates, anxiety. How you slow down and coach me through these things. What's small to you is what? So you're just thinking, I just want to get this transaction done so I can get a commission check. You ought to be thinking, how do I help this person move from where they are to where they want to be? Everybody see that? Okay? And it comes down to how you communicate with them. It comes down to how you care about them as a person. It comes down to how you locate what their real dreams and ambitions are. It comes down to how you create value for them in their life. It comes down to how you remove friction for them. See what I'm saying? So you should be thinking, with your permission, I'm going to take this off your plate and handle everything for you. Okay? And I know this is a stress point for you, so let me just take care of this for you. Okay? So just go back to the word transformation. You came to me not clear, you left me clear, and this journey in between A and B is where you just create value. Now, if you call me today, and you've called me before, and thank me for my business or referrals or talking about you guys, that's good, okay? But you're, to a guy like me, imagine me calling Cardone and saying, hey man, thanks, just want to thank you. What do you think he's thinking?
Why the hell did you call me?
Okay, what is my ambition right now? If you follow me on social media, you know what it is. What is it?
Get that greatness factory up.
Build a greatness factory in
Sell
Nashville,
books.
hit 10,000 copies of the new book. That's all I talk about every day. So calling me to say thank you for your business, we really appreciate your business, is nice, but it doesn't really add a whole lot of value to my life. Calling me and saying, hey man, I'm going to buy 10 copies of your book, right, which is, you know, whatever, $30 a book, or I'm going to buy 5 copies, or I'd like to tell people about you, or I'd like to do a Zoom with you, or something. That adds a lot more value to me than just calling me and saying thank you for your business. Everybody with me? See, cash confidence is really locating other people's dreams and ambitions and helping them with those dreams and ambitions. Okay? Everybody with me? Okay, so what could a mortgage originator be doing right now? If you were my mortgage originator, and see, everybody's real reactive about this. I have multiple properties. They all have different interest rates. A value to me would be, say, hey, coach, I want to come into the office, look at your various real estate deals, look at the interest rates you're paying. Let me help you with a debt reduction strategy. Is that valuable? Yes. It's valuable. Because you may say, hey, you got this one at 6.5%, this one at 4%, this one at this. Okay? What you're doing is you're using a skill to help another person do something. It's not transactional. It's like, let me help you. Because all the mortgage originators right now are just frozen. They don't do anything. They just wait. So they just sit and wait on something to happen. Now, how many of you think something will happen when you just sit and wait on something to happen? You think my coaching services just sell themselves today if nobody calls anybody? See, I already told you there was a woman who wanted to pay $8,000 for coaching. What did I do first thing this morning? Good morning. How you doing? Are you ready to take action? Can I help you? Because last night we had a good talk. Still got some fear. See, my whole thing is to objects at rest stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. Objects in motion stay in motion unless acted on by an outside force. So when you say, I don't know what to do, which is what a lot of mortgage people I say to do, and I don't know what to do, I don't know who to call, well, call the people in your database. Call your clients that just closed on a house over the last 30, 60, 90 days. Call influential people. Call somebody and help them. Everybody's in such a reactive mindset. It's like, there's a term for that called reactive problem solvers. They're people who wait on a problem to happen, and then they're very good at solving it. But they're not ahead of the game. Okay? So right now, just tell me where you break down in this cycle. When you're prospecting is a percentage of your day spent engaging with current clients. And why is that a high value activity? Why is it high value activity again? Average person is going to buy 4 to 7 houses. Each person could send you up to 6 referrals. So there's no wasted movement. Yesterday I called 2 of our clients on the way to the lodge. I never, ever, when I'm in the car, never not prospect. Everybody with me? See, I've already listened to my podcast for the day. I've already done my reading for the day. When I get ready to go to work, I'm at work. So I don't spend workday time listening to podcasts. The podcast comes before work. Everybody see that? So I had an instinct. You should call these 2 people. I called them, talked to them for 15 minutes apiece. You know what they both did? They thanked me, and they said, thank you for spending time talking to me about this and giving me some clarity. Okay? It's so uncommon for people to call people and add value today. They actually thank you when you do it. Now, not everybody's gonna answer the phone, not everybody, and that's okay. We cannot control the response. We can only control the stimulus. So I like to say there is no wasted movement. You with me? There is no wasted movement. Every action you take is a positive action because it could create something. Okay? So when we're looking at our day, let's look at how you currently map out your day. So when you're calling people today, who are you calling?
Calling hot leads.
Okay.
People that you're showing or people that might be on the fence.
Okay. All right. So what do you call those? Is there a name for them?
Red zone.
There you go. So when we come into the day, let's get some key things in place. Objects at rest stay at rest unless what?
Acted upon by force.
Who's the force?
We're the force.
You are. Money changes hands when?
Problems are solved.
Okay, the bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve that problem. Let me ask you a question. How do you know what my problems are? That's right. Or just follow me on social media. And I'll tell you what my problems are, right? So my point is, I don't know what your problems are and how I can help you until I engage with you. Okay? So when I come into the day, when I'm looking at the day and I'm mapping it out, this is part of the legacy selling system. What I do is I look at this. What are my biggest level 10 opportunities? Okay, so think of these as big opportunities. We call those level 10s. So if I were to ask you what's the biggest opportunity available to you today, what is it?
You coming in here.
Okay, all right. What's a big opportunity for you to hit your sales goals? Is there a key connection? Is there a key relationship? Is there a key? See what I'm saying? See, when you get over here, if I showed you my big opportunities right now, it would be trying to make this book a Wall Street Journal bestseller, finishing a greatness factory. It would be getting my lodge ready to rent because it's passive income. Okay, it would be expanding my team. See, these are all big opportunities. You can't have 100. We just have a few. We call those level 10s. I then move to who are my blue marlins. These are big relationships.
You said this is how you map out.
This is how I map out my day.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I do not think in linear terms, which means I don't think I'm going to call you and sell you something. I think in terms of I'm going to call you, I'm going to connect with you. I'm going to locate your ambitions, and then I'm going to invite you to take some kind of action. Everybody see that? So I'm not calling you to sell you something. I'm calling you to connect with you. What am I really trying to find out, though?
What your problem is.
That's right. Or what your ambitions are. What are you trying to do? See, I had a vision this morning of a guy in Chattanooga, and I texted him and I said, I got a bigger vision for you I want to call you about today. He said, I'm all ears. See, I'm going to call him and I'm going to say, hey, man, good to connect with you. Hadn't talked in a minute. I see you're doing some good things on Facebook. I'm connecting with him right now. Okay? And then I say, man, what are you trying to do right now? And he's going to tell me. And I may say, what's the biggest missing structure you got right now to move from A to B? And then I'm going to present an idea to him, and I'm going to invite him to take an action. Man, I've been thinking about this for you. This is a strategy I think you should be using. This is something you'd be open to. See? Big relationships are people. These are big opportunities, although they could be people too. Okay? Then I move to what's called my red zone. And red zone are people who are close to making a buying decision. What do these people need?
Clarity,
That's right.
information,
Courage.
courage.
What they really need is courage. So people in the red zone, I say find their fear because they're afraid of something. Okay? And give them courage. Find out, man, it seems like you want to do this. It feels like you're ready to get started, but you're stuck on one thing. What are you stuck on? I'm stuck on interest rates. I'm stuck on the monthly payment. Me and my husband can't get on the same page. Okay, now I've located their problem. Now, this is where I like to present option selling. When that woman told me she was scared, I said, okay, I understand. You've never spent more than $1,000. I'd be scared too. What if I put this into 3 payments for you? Would that help you? See, now I'm presenting her options, right? This is not happening enough, especially on the mortgage side. Let me give you some options on how to put this deal together. Okay, so I was going to buy a condo in downtown Nashville, the one I rent right now. I rent for $5,600 a month. I was going to buy it at 10% down through Pinnacle because Pinnacle has a high net worth division, and they were going to do the deal at 10% down. and I was going to purchase it. Right as I got ready to purchase it, the rates jumped up, and my payment went from $6,100 to $8,800. And that caused me to freeze for a minute. Everybody with me? I told the real estate agent, who was the seller's representative, that I wanted to buy the unit because my office is in downtown Nashville and it's in the same building. So I've already told her what I want, yes or no? Right. I told her my ambitions. Guess what she didn't do? Well, once I said, man, I just can't do it at this rate. What did she do? She didn't do anything. She never called me back one time. What should she have done?
Give you a few different ways to do it.
Hey, you know what? I've talked to the seller. We're trying to get real creative here. He wants to sell it. You want to buy it. Let's work with the mortgage originators on how we can do it. And let's keep listen to what I'm about to tell you. Let's keep working this deal, Coach, until you own that condo. That make sense? And with your permission, I'm gonna be right here with you pretty much every week until we get this deal done. Everybody see that? That's not what happened. I cooled off. She never followed up one time. Now that's on a 1 point. Okay, so where we were different is he asked $1.8 million for the condo. It appraised at 1.65 by an independent appraiser. So we're not that far off. Okay, so if I would have gave him 1.65, and if he says I won't take 1.65, it's got to be at 1.8 to do the deal, right? Now what are my options to put this deal together? Could we get creative? How can we do it? Is there any owner financing plus financing from the bank? Like what can we do to help you? She didn't do any of that. She basically just waited on me to call her back. Does that make sense? So I did call her back yesterday. Guess what he said yesterday? He would like $2 million for the condo. And I said, help me understand why the value is going down, but his price is going up, and the rates are incredibly high right now. What am I really want to know? Does he really want to sell this condo? Because it doesn't seem like to me that he wants to sell it. Now, this is where I had some empathy, though. We have a house in Florida that we bought for $3.35 million, and at the peak of the market, we could have sold it for $5.2 to $5.4 million. So I literally could have walked away with $2 or $3 million of straight profit. You see that? Mm-hmm. But my wife was emotionally attached to the house. So what I would tell our agent, man, if you could get 5.5 or 5.6, we'll talk about it. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's stupid. So what I said to the agent is, I understand, because we have a property in Florida that we're emotionally attached to, and it would have to be a ridiculous deal. So here's what I said to the agent. It's his condo. He don't have to sell it to me, right? And I don't have to buy it from him. But I need more options. Now, here's what she said, to her credit. Do you have someone representing you specifically on condo purchases at the 505? Because I personally listed many of those. I know which ones have been renovated. I know all the owners. I could potentially get an off-market deal, right? And she said, with your permission, I'd like to go look for these. Everybody see that? So I give her credit for at least having a little prey drive, but I'm going to give her negative points for not following up to try to put the deal together. Because we could have figured this out a long time ago, right? Now I've got 6 months on my lease. Now there's a little pressure. Now I'm either going to rent it, I'm going to buy it, or I'm going to buy something else. Those are my three options. So I would just say that to the person. Hey, Coach, it looks like you really want to do this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about buying this condo? And what's your time frame? Well, we know the time frame because the lease is up in 6 months. So at the end of that lease, so when you're talking to people, you need to keep doing discovery. What are you going to do at the end of that 6 months? Would you like to go ahead and put a deal together today? With your permission, can I talk to the seller to get the best terms I can? Can I talk to your mortgage originator to see if we can put the deal together and what they would do in today's market? Coach, can I keep giving you some options until when? Until you have brought this deal to the maturation of the deal. You hear me say a lot, take something through to its logical conclusion. Means it is matured. You have taken it to its maturity. So when I indicated I wanted to buy that condo, so let me take me out of it. If I told you I want to buy a house in Rutherford County, I don't care how I told you, through Zillow, you heard me in conversation, you saw me talk about it on Facebook. You need to lock in like a freaking dog on a bone, and you need to stay with that deal until that deal is complete. Now, help me understand why real estate agents don't do this.
Because it takes too long. Distractions.
So they take too long because they're thinking in terms of what?
Next deal.
Everything's transactional. No, when I get up, if you're not ready to take action today, here's what I say, man, when you're ready, I'll be ready. But with your permission, I'm going to continue to follow up with you until we get you into a coaching program. Now, if you don't like option A I gave you, I'm going to give you option B. If you don't like B, I'm going to give you C. And I'm going to keep working this because you do want the coaching, don't you? Yes, I do. You do want to get better, don't you? Now, it seems like to me something is scaring you here. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid I won't get my money back. Okay. Maybe we start you here versus here. Does that make sense? But we're going to keep going. And so when I wake up in the morning, the first people I go to are people in my red zone. The whole goal is to help them make a decision, which means to kill something off. See, my whole goal is to stay with you until we have a decision. Okay? Now, when you hear us talk about the farm club, what does that mean? What's the difference between the farm club and the red zone?
People you're trying to bring into the red zone.
Okay? These are people who have indicated some form of interest. Okay? How do I know your level of interest?
Asking.
That's right. What kind of questions can I ask?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
How serious are you? What timeline? Why do you want to do this? How sick are you of your current house? How would you feel if I sold this house to somebody else? How would you feel if I called you tomorrow and told you it's no longer available? How bad do you want this condo, Coach Burt? Okay, and I need you to be brutally honest with me. Okay, if they go, I'm just looking, okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you're kind of at a 3 or 4. Am I right about that? Now, let me ask you a question. If I brought you something you couldn't say no to, would you move from a 3 or 4 to a 10? If I brought you an incredible deal, off market, fits exactly what you want, completely renovated, on the same side, looking at the same view, on the 36th floor versus the 40th floor, Coach Burt, would the answer be yes if I brought that to you? Look at how I'm asking these questions.
You say yes, would that be red zone or farm club?
If they say yes, they'd be red zone. But let's say I started off and I told you, man, my interest level's low.
Yeah.
Okay? I know in 15 seconds if I have a legitimate prospect or not by the questions I ask. Okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? Because I only work with serious people. And I don't want to waste your time and I don't want you to waste my time.
Yeah.
I work with people who have a desire to get better and are willing to invest money to get better. Am I talking to one of those people right now? Yes, I am. Okay, good. How long have you been thinking about doing this? For a long time. Okay, why haven't you done it up until now? What prompted you to reach out to me? Boom, man, I'm interested in this, right? And I'm just doing my discovery. What I'm really doing is locating their ambition. Okay, now I bought a lot out by the lodge, 2.4 acres. The lot, when you first come into the lodge, the one to the right, and I bought it from the owner who owned all the land. I paid $125,000, 2.4 acres. We're checking that, okay? But I bought it because I didn't want somebody else to buy it. That's the main reason. I don't want somebody to buy it, build a house on it, and it's right up to my lodge because I want to put a big sign up there that says the lodge. I want a little welcome center up there. So I went to the woman who owned the thing, and I said, I'd like to purchase this lot. What would you sell it to me for? And she said, I'll sell it to you for $125,000. I said, I think that's fair. And I said, I'd like 3 options to purchase it. Would you own or finance it? And she came back, she gave me 3 options. I'll give you option A, option B, option C. And I said, I'll take option C. See what I'm saying? When I was doing the deal on the Greatness Factory of Nashville, everybody told me how difficult Tony Giarratani was, who basically built all the high-rises in Nashville. He's like the Trump of Nashville. And everybody told me how difficult he was to negotiate with. When we were working through the deal, he said, I want you to put 10% earnest money down, which was $440,000. Okay, and I said, would you be okay with 5%? He said, sure. We get to the very end of the deal, and he was going to give me $800,000 in tenant improvements, but I was going to have to build it, go get checks from him. I said, man, Tony, to really do this deal, I'd really like for you to give me the $800,000 at the closing table and lower the sales price from $4.4 million to $3.6 million. Would you do that? Sure. He said, tell you what, I'll even loan you another $800,000 to put the deal together. Because that's how bad I want to do it, and I want you to do it. Everybody see that? So here's a guy who's supposedly very difficult to deal with, who's given me $800,000 at the closing table, really lowered the sales price, which lowered my loan amount, and he's willing to loan me $800,000 to put the deal together at the closing table, right? But everybody said he's so difficult to negotiate with. I didn't find him difficult on one thing to negotiate with.
What's the difference? You just asked or what?
I just asked.
Yeah.
I just asked for options. Man, I don't like that option. Give me another option, right? What's the lesson for you? You should keep going. When somebody, how many of you have people in your red zone right now? Okay? Now, why are they not taking action? Because they're afraid of something. Until you find the fear and give them courage and give them options, they're just going to sit there. Because they're going to sit at rest. That's inertia. Inertia is resistance to move. I'm just sitting here until something comes along and boom, nudges me, bumps me. So what I see a lot of times is I indicate interest on real estate deals and nobody follows up with me. Now, we're over here on Franklin Highway. How many of y'all have seen that CVS for sale on Franklin Highway for the last couple of years? CVS over there. I called 7 times to the real estate agent who had that listed to see if I could purchase it. He didn't answer one time, and he never called me back one time. So I called him one morning at 6 a.m. when I was leaving the gym. And I left him a voicemail. I said, "Are you okay? Man, I'm really worried about you. Something don't seem right here. You know, you got this property listed, but you won't call me back." He called me back that day. And he said, I'm so sorry. I'm busy. I've got all this stuff going on. I'm like, "Are you trying to sell that property? Do you get a commission on that? It's $1 million, $2 million? Yeah." And I said, "Okay, I called you 7 times to indicate interest in buying this property. Why will you not follow up with me?" Speed to a lead, and then getting back to something that agents have gotten away from, which is the art of selling. Just getting another person excited about something. Man, this is an incredible house. You're going to be 100% happy when you're in this, right? Like you can picture yourself coming home to this house and how excited you are to see it, right? Let's get this thing going, man. Like getting people excited about something. Because what they do is they just sit there until somebody comes along. So farm club are people who are interested. How many times are we following up?
7 to 12.
Yep.
15.
80% of the time, it takes 7 to 15 touches to convert someone who is interested to a person who takes action. Guess what the national average is for real estate agents and mortgage originators? 1.8. That's how many times they actually follow up. How many of you believe you already found areas that you're losing money right now? Before, during, and after the sale. So how do I ask for a referral, Josh? What's the best way to ask for that referral?
Who do you know right now that's...
I don't like that question.
Did I do a good job for you?
Has this been a good experience for you like it's been for me? Man, I love working with you. And I believe like gravitate toward like. And if I love working with you as much as I do, I'd love working with some of your friends. Who else do I need to be connected to? See, I don't know who came up with this question. Do you know anybody buying or selling real estate right now? It's a terrible question. Puts me on the spot, puts me in a defensive posture. I'm not thinking about this. So what do people say? Well, let me think about it. Here's a better question. Has this been a good experience for you? Have we over-delivered for you? We've done everything we said we were going to do. It's been positive. Man, I love working with you. You've been a great client. I'd love to work with you on all the deals you do. I'd like to be your official agent over your lifetime, right? And who else do I need to be connected with? See where I'm going?
I feel like we know we need to say that. Why don't you think a lot of people say it? Like just say that stuff. I feel like,
Well, because we have considerations, and a consideration is an internal thought.
feelings.
Like we're scared that we're going to be intrusive. We're scared we're going to be bothering people. We're scared we're going to be... Like if you just called me out of the blue today and said, "Man, do you know anybody buying or selling real estate?" I'd be like, "No, man." But if you stayed in my life and there was a flow and a rhythm, man, has this been good for you? Who else can we need to help? Remember this, flow and frequency. Flow. Everybody see that? So look at my categories. Big opportunities, big people I need to be connected to. You don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. These people are connected to more people. Okay? Red zone, people close. Farm club, people interested. We're nurturing. Then we want to get down here to what's called our top 25. These are our advocates. Okay? Now let me ask a question. How many advocates would you say you have right now, people out there fighting for you?
10.
Okay? How many do you need?
100,000.
The goal is a minimum of 25.
Millions.
So again, let's go back to why would I advocate for you? Out of all the real estate agents, why would I advocate for you?
We're going to get you to point A to point B with the most clarity, and really just take all the frustration and the hesitation and unclarity out of the equation for you.
There's probably a benefit in it to me. there's probably a benefit in it to me too on why I would advocate for you. There's something you're doing for me. Everybody with me? Okay. I heard Tommy mentioned Ronnie Martin, who's a friend of ours. He was my banker at First Bank, and then he left First Bank. First Bank never called on me until Ronnie left. President never called me. They never brought me in and said, you're one of our top clients. Why did they wait till there was a threat to call on me? We don't want you to go with him to the new bank. See, in my mind, you should have been doing that already. If you really don't want me to leave, you should be engaging with me the whole time. Yes or no? Okay. So it's almost a slap in the face when you wait till the very end and go, no, 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 you're real important to us. If I was real important to you, there would be a flow and frequency where you were contacting me on a consistent basis. What are you doing? What are your goals? How much debt do you need? How can we finance everything for you? We'd love to be your preferred banker. Because of this, it breeds disloyalty. Because there's not enough flow and frequency, people just go to wherever the best deal for them is. Hence, why when I wanted to do the deal in Nashville, I went to Pinnacle. They were going to give me 10% down. See where I'm going? There really wasn't enough loyalty there to keep me in there. See, what they should have been saying is, look, let us figure out a way to do this deal for you, coach. And we may not be able to do 10%, but maybe we could do 12, maybe we could do 15, because we want to be your primary banker always, right? See, what opens the door for disloyalty in a relationship is you not being there for your clients. You're not engaging with them. There's no flow and frequency. So look at all my activity during the day. I do this every day, by the way. So every day I come into the day and I say, what are my top 3 level 10s? Typically something I got to do to push them. Who are my biggest relationships I need to be engaged with, right? Who's in my red zone I need to call and try to get across the finish line? Who's in my farm club of people I'm just nurturing? Okay? And who are my biggest advocates? I typically try to tackle 3 a day.
What's the biggest difference between level 10 and red zone?
Level 10 are just big opportunities. It could be a relationship. It could be a key connection for you. It could be something that could significantly change your life. It could be knowing a person, like it's a big opportunity for you, and you want to capitalize on that opportunity. Red zone are just people, real people close to making a decision. See, these are opportunities, not necessarily people.
So like actions, almost like
Yeah.
putting yourself somewhere, maybe, potentially.
So could it be possible that Hayden has to make 50 calls to make a sale, and I have to make 5 to make a sale? And could it be possible in my 5 calls that I actually outperform Hayden? Yes or no?
Yes.
Based on skill level. So when you hear a volume, yes, volume matters, but I can make 5 calls to some other people's 50 calls and actually close more business. And that comes down to skill. What is the skill? Initiating, connecting, locating a problem, inviting them to take an action. Convincing them this is what you need to do. You came to me because I'm an expert, and I'm telling you exactly what you need to do here to put this deal together. Now, you don't have to take my advice, but why did you come to me? Okay? So what's not happening, in my opinion, as a consumer of real estate, and I probably own, I don't know, $25 million worth of real estate right now. So I'm always looking at real estate, always. Every day I look at real estate, right? Retreat sites, anything that can cash flow, commercial buildings. What is the missing structure to me is what I do a lot is I indicate interest in a property, and the agent either never follows up with me properly, or they never get me excited enough to sell it, or they never do a lot of work to put a deal together and say, man, let me get you in this deal. Let me show you 3 options to put you in this deal. It's like they want to do this on one call, close me on a multi-million-dollar property, which is not going to happen. You see where I'm going? There's got to be a lot of follow-up here. And there's got to be a lot of selling that happens, which is get me excited about the property. Show me how I can make money with the property. Okay? Now, let me give you one more example, and then we'll take some questions. I went down to Chattanooga, and I was looking at retreat sites because my ambition is to own more retreat sites. I love coaching people, and I love coaching people in really cool places. Okay? I do not have a place on the water right now. We have the Lodge, which you guys have been to, and we have a house in Florida that we do coaching at. Okay? And we're about to have a commercial structure in Nashville. It's about a $7 million project called the Greatness Factory. But I do not have a place on the water. And one of my ambitions is to have a retreat site on the water. Okay? So I like mountains, water, So I went down to Chattanooga, which is a cool city. There was a young real estate agent down there who knew the market. He's 23 years old, so he's young like you guys, and he was so friendly and nice and had great manners. You see what I'm saying? Just one of the nicest kids ever. And I said to him, this is why it's very important to listen and take notes. I said to him, I will only buy property if it can positively cash flow. I can rent it on Airbnb, and then I can do retreat sites at it. I can do retreats at it, which would indicate it needs 5 or more bedrooms. You with me? 2 of the properties he showed me were in the city. Chattanooga has a restriction on Airbnbs and VRBOs in the city right now. So really wasted. I went down on Sunday. I looked at one up in the mountains that wasn't polished, going to take a couple $100,000 to get it fixed, way overpriced. And then he took me to 2 properties that were nice, but were in the city and I couldn't rent. And I'm like, why did we look at these properties? I can't Airbnb them. I told you I'm looking for a property that would do what? Cash flow without me being there, and I could use it for a retreat. Now, do you think I can have a retreat right in the middle of a subdivision? See where I'm going? Because he took me to a house that was beautiful in the middle of a subdivision. Right? And there's a house right here beside me. And I'm like, can I rent this house? He's like, well, no, right now, Chattanooga. I'm like, why did we look at this house? It's a total waste of our time. Okay? So I left there that day not interested in any of the 3 houses. How long did it take for the agents to follow up with me? Didn't follow up with me. Now, how serious, Hayden, was I when I took a whole Sunday and me and my wife drove to Chattanooga and spent the whole day looking at real estate properties? How serious am I?
Very serious.
Okay, am I a qualified buyer?
Yes, sir.
How would you know if I was a qualified buyer?
You drove out there on Sunday. You probably flew out.
Yeah, how would you know if I was qualified, though, if you didn't know those things about me?
asking.
Yeah. Coach, what budget are we looking at? Have you already pre-qualified with your mortgage person? Are we, right, you said retreat sites, 5 bedrooms. Are we in the 1 million range? Are we in the 2 million range? Or do you want water? Do you want mountains? Do you want great view? See where I'm going? This is all part of your what? Discovery. You see that? So I left that day, and I went back to my life. What happens when I get back to my life? I ain't thinking about it anymore. Could I be interested on that Sunday? Could he have got me excited about a house that Sunday and I potentially end up buying it? Yes or no? But he didn't. He walked around and said, look at this, look at this. So let's role play. What could he have done different when I went down to Chattanooga? Obviously, we know he could have done better on the discovery because we really wasted half a day. And to a guy like me, half a day is a lot of time. So I'm not interested in wasting half. So I don't want to go back to Chattanooga and go through this again. You with me? What could he have done after I left that day and didn't purchase a property?
In the future, if there's something that I find, would you be open to me doing a virtual tour for you?
That's right.
Can I go ahead and give you information on if this will Airbnb?
Go one step further.
How
Go.
much it'll Airbnb?
There you go.
Or you could have just made sure you made it back.
That's right.
So it was more on
Hey, man.
the level.
Hey, at the end of the day, great meeting you today. I hear what you said. These are not properties that you want. Coach, I'm going to go to fight. I'm going to battle for you, and I'm not stopping until I find you a retreat site in Chattanooga that you like.
Boom.
All right, so every day I'm going to be sending you some. I'm going to drive up there personally in the mountains. I'm going to find the best ones. I'm going to even talk to some of the homeowners to see if somebody will sell it off market. See, the house I bought in Florida was not on the market. The agent convinced the seller to sell it to me. Knocked on the door. I have a buyer in Tennessee. He wants a house with these things. Your house has it. Would you sell this house to him? Like, that's initiative, yes? Yeah. So what he could be doing every day is say, I talked to a top Airbnb expert in Chattanooga. I have total clarity of where we can buy a house, not buy a house. I also have projected numbers. I'm going to send you those projections on exactly what I think a 5-bedroom would do in Chattanooga. It's going to be occupied X number of days in the year. Okay, this is how much money you're going to make in passive cash flow, Coach. Here's your note. Here's your expenses. Here's your positive cash flow. Coach, I think you can make $100,000 a year with a house like this. And I'm going to keep going, right? Now, do you like this one? No, I don't like that one. My wife don't like it. Okay, good. I'm going to send you another one. This one, positive cash flow, $80,000. But add your retreat, you could add another a couple $100,000. Now you're at $280,000 of cash on this property per year while other people are paying for it. See the initiative levels that could be happening right here? So I had to ask this kid, I said, hey, man, send me all the available properties that I could VRBO in the mountains or on the water in Chattanooga and put them in one email for me, please. I had to ask him to do that. Now, who should be doing it? He should be saying, let me do this for you. Let me handle all this work for you, Coach. We're going to keep going until we have, this is a 23-year-old kid on a $2 million commission. You with me? Like, that should be, am I a blue marlin for him, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, is that a level 10 for him, yes or no? Okay, so when you come into the day, not all opportunities are equal. Not all relationships are equal. So when you come into the day, there's only so much bandwidth and time you have. And you got to get freakish about how you spend your time. Now, I could get on the phone, you give me the leads, I call them all day long, and you can make money doing that. You probably make about 150 grand a year, but you'll never make the kind of money I'm talking about making, which is 150 grand a month. You with me? I ain't talking about that money. I'm talking about, if I don't operate like, hey, I got a CRM and I'm buying leads and I call people all day long to try to sell them something. I operate like I'm out in the universe and there's 7 billion people that I can help. And as I meet people, I'm like, boom, that's somebody I need to know right there, Blue Marlin. Follow up with them. You with me? Boom, I'm going to initiate a conversation. We got to get out of the transaction business of buying Zillow leads, calling people, trying to make a sale. And as you mature in your real estate career, you got to get into true building deep networks of people who can help you and you can help them. Everybody see that? You don't need more money, you need more people. All right, so look at the structure I have. So what I do at night is I sit down and I map out all this stuff. As you know, I'm trying to get to $500,000 a month. That's my goal. That's $25,000 a day. So when I wake up in the morning, it's like, how do I sell $25,000 today? Who can I sell it to? Who can I help to get to that number? So if I close the woman today, that's 8,000 of the 25. Everybody see that? Now I've got 17,000 to go find somewhere. So where do I go? Straight to my red zone. Who do I think is close to making a buying decision? How do I find their fear and give them courage? Straight to my farm club, following up. Who are my Blue Marlins I need to be connecting with? See where I'm going? Now I'm working through a system. It's not random. It's not sporadic. And I think you could do this 2 hours a day and hit 25,000 a day. Everybody see that? If you have the right people. Now, you may say to me, well, you haven't been in this market. It's just as hard to sell coaching today as it is to sell a house today. So look at all the things I do to stimulate. I lower the price to $297. That's 40% off. See, what I do is I look at the economy and I go, okay, how do I get to 25,000 today? And what I need to do to stimulate this. But it's just as hard to sell coaching as it is to sell a house. Because people, when they contract in a lot of areas of their life. And they say, I'm not spending money on this right now. I'm not investing any money in this. I'm scared. So when the economy contracts, lots of businesses, not just real estate or mortgage, struggle because people just are more conscientious of what they're spending. How do you convince them? How do I convince that woman? I know you got 3 kids at home. And I know that you're scared to death to do this, but this is going to be good for you. That's exactly how I got to say it to her. This is going to be really good for you. Right? I got to sell her. I got to convince her. Okay? So what questions do you have on the system? And where are you losing money? I think it's important for a coach to ask you, all of us, including me, can get better at follow-up after the sale. You with me? All of us. Something nobody wants to do. I get it. You've sold somebody. It's very hard to communicate with thousands of people. But if you just every day hit 3, 4, 5 people that you've sold and engage with them, see what I'm saying? Then that's a positive. So where are you losing the most money in the system?
I need more advocates.
Okay. So how do we build advocates again?
Low in frequency.
We add,
Add value to
we
them.
advocate for them.
And just talk.
What was Rick Insel doing calling me this morning?
One more time.
What was it? Why did Coach Insel call me this morning? Why didn't he text me and say your tickets are a will call?
You wanted to create value.
Inclusion.
Yeah. Inclusion.
He understands.
Yeah.
He's including me. I want you and your daughter to come down the locker room. I want to meet your daughter. The people who are at the top are really great at connection and how they make people feel. They make other people feel important. Okay? So the way you build advocates is you learn to advocate for other people. You're not just trying to sell people something all the time. Does that make sense? Okay? And so what value can you bring to my life? Encouragement, an idea, a strategy, more than anything, people. You can bring people. When Tommy says, I'm signing up for Monster Producer, and he gets you to sign up, and he gets Roy Frazier to sign up, and he gets these other people to sign up, that's value to me. Everybody see that? That matters to me because I'm trying to help a lot of people. And so it's a lot different saying, hey, man, thank you for being one of our clients and doing your real estate deals with us and supporting us. But it's like, how do you advocate for people in a way that kind of is more transformational versus transactional?
It's the money. It's like putting money in their pocket a lot of the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's energy. It's flow. Okay? So my mortgage originator is Brandon Burt. You probably know him. He said, I want to buy 100 copies of your book, and I want to do an event, a real estate event where you come in and speak to, 100 real estate agents. And I want to hand those books out one by one. That helps me. That's a $3,000 or $4,000 investment, number one, to buy the books. But number two, he's going to put me in front of more people. See where I'm going? And that's advocacy. That's advocating for me. Because I got a goal to hit that list, and you got to sell 10,000 copies to hit that list. Every single book matters. See what I'm saying? So anybody calls me and says, man, I want to help you with that book because I know it's real important to you. I want to buy 10 copies, 1 copy, 5 copies. That matters to me. Even one little bitty copy matters to me because it helps me get closer to my goals. Okay? So where are we losing money? Red, where are we losing money?
So what I'm confused on is a level 10 opportunity. So could you give me an example of what I guess a level 10 opportunity would be?
Great question. All right, so let's pretend for a second that you are trying to go from A to B in your life. And you're at A, and A is currently, how many deals are you currently doing per year? How many are you going to do this year?
28.
Okay, so let's say you're currently at 28, which is great, and you would tell me B is what? 50. Okay, why would you want to do 50? Why?
To make more money.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's classify a level 10 opportunity as a big opportunity that would move you closer to your B. So let's pretend for a second you landed a builder, and the builder says, man, I'm gonna build the homes, you're gonna sell the homes, and you're gonna pick up 30 more houses. Would that be a level 10 opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that anything that moves you closer to your B, that is a big opportunity, is a level 10 opportunity. See, it's not like calling and making one sale unless you're making that sale to somebody who is an influencer. And they say, man, I got 40 people I'm going to send you tomorrow because I got all kinds of people coming to me and I'm going to refer you out. And that helps you move. So when I wake up in the morning, see, part of my B is passive income, not active income. So I'm having my team, accountants, all my team calculate how much it costs me to live in my current lifestyle. How much does everything cost? And you need to know this, by the way. How much does it cost you to live at your current lifestyle? Okay? Then, how do I get enough passive income that is greater than that expense? That's one of my B's. So why would I be building a greatness factory? What does the greatness factory create? What does the lodge create when it's rented? If I rent that lodge, I'm renting the lodge in a few weeks for $13,500 for 2 days. The payment on that lodge is about $8,000 a month. Well, one rental at $13,500 almost pays for two months' rent. If I can get the lodge doing $250,000 a year in passive income, that moves me closer to my B. So if I woke up this morning and said, okay, what can I do to make the lodge more rentable? I need to put it out there on Facebook. I need to redo these things. I need to make it where people can stay there. I need to market it. Maybe I need to hire somebody who does nothing but watch the lodge and promote the lodge. Everybody see that? Yeah. That would be level 10 opportunities. Now, I'm expanding my team right now because I can't really get to my goals with the small team that I have. So a level 10 opportunity is wake up and make a decision to hire 2 or 3 more people today. Because it moves me closer to my B. And my B this coming year will be $10 million, not $6 million. See what I'm saying? So I'm trying to jump about $4 million a year.
Well, what about let's just say you got a client that's bought, like an investor that's bought 3 or 4 houses this year.
Yep.
Would you consider that person a top 10?
Top 25.
Top 25?
Yes.
Well, what differentiates them from being at level 10?
Well, think of Blue Marlins as people. Think of opportunities. Could just be an opportunity. Could be a level 10 opportunity.
If he was looking for a $3 million.
Yeah, sure.
So what I would do with that investor is just call him and say, man, I'm going to stay right there with you. I'm going to be right there with you. When I find things, I'm going to send them to you. Let me be really clear on what you're trying to do. He may say, man, I'm trying to buy 25 more properties. Mm-hmm. See where I'm going?
Does that override everything else level 10 opportunities?
So let's go back to something. What did you hear me say my ambition was earlier?
500,000 a month.
Okay, that's one ambition. That's one B.
Passive income.
10,000.
Passive income greater than my living expenses. I also said one of my ambitions is to have a retreat site where? On water.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, man, with your permission, I'm just going to start sending you. I'm going to go on a rabid hunt for retreat sites, like real retreat sites, and ones that are on water. Right? And I'm going to send them to you from anything from $1 million to $5 million. Is that okay with you, Coach? See what I'm saying? Like when you listen to what other people want to do, then you got to take initiative to actually follow up. And that's really what's not happening in the real estate game. Now, how valuable is a lead today versus 6 months ago? Is it more valuable today? Truth is, it was still that valuable 6 months ago. You just didn't treat it like that. See, to me, every lead is valuable. Okay? Now, we had a guy call into our office one day. This is the power of discovery. And Eric on my team sold them a $4,500 boot camp ticket. And I said, did you do discovery with those guys? He said, no, they just wanted to buy a $4,500 ticket. And I called them and I said, guys, thank you for buying this $4,500 ticket to this. What are you trying to do? They said, man, we got a $20 million insurance company. We're trying to grow and expand it. We're trying to do this, this, and this. And I said, man, that 1-2-day retreat ain't going to do that. What you really need is me coaching you, helping you do this. They said, that's exactly what we need. I said, that's going to be about $120,000 for me to do that. They said, done. So I went back to Eric.
Good job, Eric.
I went back to Eric, and I'm not knocking him. And I said, would you like a commission check on a $120,000 deal, which would be $12,000 to you? Or would you like a commission check on $4,500, which would be $450 to you? He said, oh, I'll take the one that's $12,000. I said, that's the power of discovery. I just sold them a $120,000 package. You sold them a $4,500 ticket because it was easy. It was easy. It's transactional. He didn't ask, why do you want to buy this ticket? Why are you coming to this event? Why specifically did you pick this one over the other ones? See, the people don't do their discovery. Remember this, and then I'll close. There is no shortage of money in the world. There is no shortage of opportunity. There is a shortage of initiative. There is a shortage of follow-up. There is a shortage of courage, but there ain't a shortage of money. You with me? Now, it's easy for you in this market. The psychologists tell us when you're under pressure, you do three things. You fight, which is what I do. I come out swinging. When I'm not hitting my numbers, I push harder. I do more video. Look at me doing all these freaking videos. 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning, midday. I'm doing free things. Look at how many free things I'm doing right now. Right? And people ask me, why you do them in the morning? Why? I get different people at night than I get in the morning. I get different people on Sunday night than I do Friday night. See what I'm saying? So to me, do I have a higher probability of selling something when I'm in front of people or a lower probability of selling something? So I'm going, when I'm under pressure, I'm pushing hard. I push harder. I fight. The second group of people flee, right? They contract. They don't do anything. Matter of fact, they do something. They contract back to comfort. But psychologists are now telling us there's a third category. They freeze. And they literally just sit there. They're like, well, I can't do anything. Nobody's buying a house right now because of the market. I mean, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. I'm not going to call my past clients. I'm not going to engage with people. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. Now, does that increase the probability of selling something or decrease the probability of selling something? Okay. Right? Are there still people buying something out there, yes or no? Okay. Then do you increase your probability of talking to people or decrease the probability? You increase it. Okay? When I was a basketball coach, and Joey remembers this, my last season, we were terrible. It's the worst team I had. We practiced more. When we were bad, we literally practiced almost 6 hours a day with that team. I'd bring them in before school started. It's crazy. We were so bad because all my talented players graduated. We won a state championship. And then had all these young players, freshmen, sophomores. They didn't know how to win. But they didn't know any better. They literally thought that's what we do. We win. And I remember coming out and beating Cookeville, who was much better than us in the beginning of the season. And it shocked Mindy Odom that we beat her. And she's like, how in the hell did you do that? And I said, because my kids expect to win. They don't even know they're bad. Literally, right? We won 22 games that season. It's the best coaching job I ever did with the most average team I ever had. But you say, well, why did we do that? Because, man, I bring them in before school, 5:30 in the morning. Then I convinced Mr. Nolan to let me have them for 30 minutes in the morning. Then at lunchtime, they'd come down and we'd watch game film. Then we actually increased everything we did during that period. That is the same thing as what's going on with the economy right now. What you should be doing is practicing more, calling more, following up more, engaging more. Or here's your options. Fight, flee, or freeze. That's really what your options are. right? So just go back to probability, okay? Does anybody have any questions? Now, is everybody this organized? Okay, so when you come into the day, where are we wasting time? Where are we wasting time?
Level 10 opportunities. I was
Okay.
unclear on it.
Where do you think you're wasting time?
I would say probably opportunities as well.
Okay. How many of you are following up like you should be? See, this ain't the fun part. It's the way the brain is wired. The brain is wired, pre-drive is to go get something new. It gets bored with something old real quick. So nobody wants to call their past clients once they've sold them. The truth is, here's what the numbers tell me. That's a lot of business right there. See where I'm going? So taking any proactive approach is a good thing right now. What could you be doing? What are your goals for 2023? What are your real estate goals? What are you trying to accomplish? How can I help you? How can I be engaged with you? Okay? Any questions? Is there anything I missed?
I missed one, I don't know. Yeah, well, I need everybody to take a picture of Coach and tag him. Have y'all done that?
Yep.
We do need to give him a social lift, so if y'all can take a picture of him, tag him, I really appreciate it.
And I need you to buy at least one copy of the book. Okay? Tommy bought 250 copies, and I appreciate that. But I'm telling you, you've never sold anything until you try to hit a Wall Street Journal bestseller. It's one of the hardest things in the world to sell. And they will not let you get there in bulk. So if I went out and got all my friends to buy it, and I hit 10,000 units in bulk, but it was all in bulk, the Wall Street Journal says, no, you game the system. All your buddies bought it. So they force you to sell about 50% of those in individual units, literally one unit at a time on Amazon. So you go to CoachBurt.com, it's right on the top, it says purchase Coach Burt's new book, takes you to a page, then that gets you some free coaching. The benefit we're giving you is we're really giving a lot of free coaching away for just buying a book at $26. So every unit helps me, okay?
Coach, I got a question.
Okay.
How many people should you always have in your red zone, in your opinion?
I think it's a great question. I think if you have less than 5, you're in trouble. I ask my sales team every day, how many people you got in the red zone? And if Eric tells me none, I'm like, man, you're in trouble. Because you're not going to close all those deals, number one. So I like having a healthy number. Now I'm generating about 3,000 leads every 90 days right now. A lot of the way I generate leads is through these free things I'm doing, Zooms, webinars, Facebook, low-ticketed items. But my problem is I don't have enough people on the phones calling people. And let me say it again, skilled labor. I could put unskilled people on the phone, but they can't get them on the phone. They don't know how to do discovery. They can't locate an ambition. They can't convince a person to take action. See what I'm saying? So I think you need 5 to 10 in the red zone at all times. I think you need a minimum of 15 to 30 in the farm club at all times, maybe a lot more, really. I think you need to have 10 people on your hit list. I didn't put the hit list up here, but hit list is you need 5 to 10 people you're initiating with all the time. And if I work the system like it's supposed to, that's 35 to 45 high-value activities every day. Everybody see that? So I'm doing 35 to 45 things. Now, if I send a text message this morning to that woman who's in the red zone, is that a high-value activity? Yes. Anything that will produce new income is a high-value activity. A follow-up with all your red zone, high value. Follow-up with your farm club, high value. Follow-up with your past clients, high value. It's just a longer-term cycle for you to close deals, okay?
When do you need to sell all those books by?
January 31st. And we're at about a little over 4,000 units sold today.
You need 10?
Say again?
You need 10?
I need, it's a tricky game. You have to have a minimum of 3,500 to hit the Wall Street Journal top 10. But right now we've sold about 700 units individually, and the bulk of that 4,000 has come through bulk orders. So right now our ratios are off. We really need that 700 to be closer to 2,000, and then I need to go hit the bulk with the other ones. And anything above 3,500 to 10,000 would put you on the list. 10,000 almost puts you at the top of the list. So.
You said you're doing an event at the Loan Depot Stadium or something?
Yep.
The week of?
The week of. and they're supposed to have 20,000 people. So, but that's the week the book comes out. So it's really risky to wait and try that. What if it don't work? What if the technology don't work? What if people don't buy the book? You know, you think with 20,000 people, I could sell at least 2,000 units that day, but it's not guaranteed. So what I'm trying to do is a lot of Zooms, a lot of coaching sessions, a lot of podcasts, a lot of things where people say, man, I want to get a copy of that book. Because people don't want to pre-order a book. It's not here, they can't touch it. So what we try to do is give them all these free things to incentivize them to take an action.
I got a weird question. How do you go to sleep at night? Like so early, like?
I take, so I did the 10X Health Systems genetic testing, and
With Gary Brecken?
with Gary Brecken,
You did that?
I did.
What'd you discover?
Basically, it comes back and shows you what your genes are, shows you if you have a compulsive or obsessive gene that you probably inherited from your parents, shows you what broken genes you have, and then they make recommendations for really hard driving people. They have these things that you can take at night to calm your mind down and to sleep. One of them is just called sleep. So I take that, and then I take a calming, like a liquid that I do through a syringe. And what I found is it calms my brain down at night so I can relax and actually go sleep.
You don't wake up like groggy or anything?
I mean, you wake up, you go into a deeper sleep because of it, right? So at first it kind of seems like, man, I was sleeping really heavy. But it doesn't. Once I get up and get going, I'm fine.
Was it worth it? You like, is that better than OT stuff?
It's totally different. What he's doing is testing your genes to see what you inherited from your parents, and then he shows you broken genes, and broken genes create ADHD, a lot of the problems that we have, right? And then he counteracts that with the, not medication, but the supplements that he sells, which are different than what Hotze sells. $6.99 to do the test per person.
Then it's like,
Then it's whatever they recommend that you purchase.
a few $100 a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, if that.
Well, that Dana White guy, I mean, he turned his life around.
Well, he turned his life around because he asked a very hard question. Gary, you know, when am I going to die? And Gary Brecka said within the next 10 years. Based on everything you had, you're most likely to die in the next 10 years, and that got his attention. And so he literally changed it. He went all the way in. He got the infrared system, the oxygen mask, everything. Totally changed his diet. Totally changed his workout regimen, because he kind of asked that hard question. If you don't know who Gary Brecka is, Gary Brecka was a guy who worked for insurance agencies for years, and he could predict when a person was going to die within 1 month. When we looked at their test, and he was ridiculously accurate, but he couldn't tell people because he was bound by the insurance agencies that he couldn't tell them, hey, you're going to die at 57 years old, and so they paid him a lot of money, and over time he just got sick of that, and he left that, and he said, here's the problems. People need to be doing these things, and the way he sold Cardone is he actually, somebody was going to invest with Cardone. And they said, I'm not going to invest with you unless you do this DNA test with Gary Brecka. Gary Brecka did, he's like, all right, I'll do it. Gary Brecka did the test. He called Cardone. He said, here's your problems. Boom, 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 boom. You can't sleep at night. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. And it was so on point to Cardone. Cardone's like, come and see me. Come and see me, and let's talk about this. And so I saw Tony Robbins and Gary Brecka speak on the same stage, and Brecka was 25 times better than Tony Robbins was. He was more interesting. He's got a fascinating concept, and that business will be, I mean, it's already a, $30 or $40 million business.
How do you spell his last name?
Brecka, Brecka.
What do you do in the morning to get going?
I get up, I take my vitamins, and I'm on a very strict vitamin regimen. I go to the gym and work out at 5, and I do hard cardio. Typically about 500 or 600 calories that I burn, and I listen to a sermon on the way there, and then then I go home and spend time with my kids for about 30 or 40 minutes, and then I listen to something on business.
No coffee, energy drinks?
I do take a Spark and a Rehydrate, as I take that with my vitamins, but I don't drink coffee. I do have some B12 shots throughout the day, that are in shots, like healthy 5-hour energies.
Yeah.
Truth is, I probably don't need those, you know. But it's probably more placebo than anything. If I'm about to speak, I drink one, or if I'm about to do a coaching session, I do one. It's probably more placebo. But the question would be, if the placebo helps you and you think it helps you, is it worth it? Right? I mean, if I thought this water I was drinking in here helped me produce $10 million more, but it really didn't, but I thought it did, it still serves its purpose. Okay? And so I think with what you guys are doing, it's real impressive with what you're doing, because I coach so many real estate people who don't have even a strategy for customer acquisition. They don't call people. They don't engage with people. They don't make outbound efforts. I think probably where you could tighten it up some is just get more scientific with how you're doing it and come into it and really take a broader perspective on it. You know? All right, guys.
One thing with the Blue Marlins, with those, you're just connecting and solving problems with those people.